Now, talking a little bit about that particular audio clip that you heard from the Ghana Post Office, you can hear many different sounds that are described in our text. And once you read about them, once you hear them, you start to make those visual connections in your mind. You can perhaps see in your mind a person using the scissors as a kind of percussion instrument, the rubber stamp that has ink on it to cancel out the stamps in the post office, using that as another kind of percussion instrument. So that introduces us to a new term in the chapter 1 called music culture. And that represents a group's total involvement with music, their ideas, actions, institutions, material objects, in other words, everything that has to do with music. And that's talked about on text page 4. Now there's a strategy that we use for understanding an unfamiliar music culture. At this point, there are so many things that you've heard on YouTube, on the internet, that there are many music cultures other than your own that you might be fairly familiar with. But there's a strategy for understanding any kind of music culture that is unfamiliar to you. Learning to hear a strange music from the viewpoint, or perspective as I put it, of the people who make that music enlarges our understanding and increases our pleasure, and I add, or our aesthetic fulfillment. Now, the definition of music we use in our class is humanly organized sound. John Blacking, a famous anthropologist, made that statement. And you can see that the idea of the sound being organized, which birds do, which humpback whales do, there are many different animals that organize sounds into patterns, but we will talk about music specifically being humanly organized sound. Now, the primary organizational components of music are first, rhythm or meter, and you can see explanation of these terms on the text, page 8 to 10. Melody, text page 10 to 12. Harmony, text page 12 and 13. And form on text page 13, 14.